Kirkendall, mindfulness educator with MCPS. Welcome to today's segment focused on growth mindset. Very excited to be here today. And before we start talking about growth mindset and expansion and all of that, let's kind of move into our bodies. I've had a really long day, so I'm just going to come. I'm going to come on my hands and knees because I'm seated, but I also just wanted to say that we can also do this exercise, standing. So this is called, and so that you can see, you can do this, wearing whatever you have. I've had a, pretty decent day. I'm in jeans and a shirt. I'm just going to come and I'm going to just do what we call just a few cat and cows, which is just going to stretch my whole spine and really just kind of wake up my body. So I'm just going to flex my chest forward, bring my head back, just feel that stretch and opening in my chest, bringing my chin into my chest and just sort of arch the spine. Again, this is really good to do, to just stretch out the entire spine, to massage our internal organs, especially if you've been seated in a chair all day. Just take a moment. I'm just going to do two more. Incorporate some breathing. Inhale and exhale. Nice, nice. Maybe just take a moment to shake out my hands. There you go. Maybe wiggle my shoulders. Nice, nice. All of these things, it just really helps me to just get into a mindfulness state. Remember that when we talk about mindfulness, we're talking about awareness. We're talking about being present in our bodies, being present, and really, really just slowing things down a little bit so that we're not working on all calibers and really stressing our internal organs just because we're just not being present. We're thinking about something yesterday or something tomorrow, but we're going to be right here, right now. All right, so today we are talking about growth mindset, which is a really, really important topic when you think about it. When you think about a growth mindset, it's more of a belief despite, what's going on in our outer lives. And it's this belief that we can improve ourselves, our inner selves, through hard work and practice. Irrespective of what's going on in our world. And then you think, what's a fixed, you have this growth mindset and then you have a very fixed, when something is fixed, it kind of sits still. It's there and it just stays there. And so that is a belief in our abilities that we kind of think that things are preset, that there's nothing we can do to change anything, that this is how it is. This is how it's going to be. What difference does it make, right? So we want to kind of gauge ourselves, again, being mindful. Mindful, we are adapting all of our senses. So I want us to just take a moment to think about that. Are we in a place where we are in a growth mindset? Or are we in a state where we are in a fixed mindset? I don't know. Who knows? We can only answer that for ourselves. I like to believe that most times I'm in a growth mindset, but I'm sure there have been those occasions where I've been in that fixed space. And so let's think about, why would a growth mindset be helpful in our education? Why? I mean, what is the connection? So again, thinking about our tool, we're looking in our toolbox, mindfulness. Mindfulness is all about bringing that greater awareness to our thoughts, And as we bring that awareness to our thoughts through our practice, we begin to discover thought patterns, that fuel our growth, as well as those thoughts that inhibit our growth. But again, mindfulness, being very present, we are touching, we are hearing, we are smelling, we are seeing, we are experiencing every moment of our lives. So today, when we think about and we explore this whole idea of how do you develop and how do you sustain a growth mindset? And I want to share with you, we have 3 qualities or 3 main ingredients, and those are resilience. Have you ever heard the word resilience? What about grit? Yeah, grit. And then there's just, what is a growth mindset? But when you combine those 3 things, it really lays the foundation to have that growth mindset, which means despite the obstacles, despite what's going on, you're still, believing that you can improve, that there is hope for tomorrow. There's always expansion. You can look beyond the challenges. And that's really, really what we want to do. So let's talk first about resilience. Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficult circumstances in our lives. And it's this constant option for the positive outcome, even when we're faced with overwhelming odds. Really, really understanding that failure is not always a bad thing. Did you hear that? Failure is not always a bad thing. If we're thinking about, this journey we call life and having resilience, we know that things are going to happen. And so as things happen, how do we see it? Do you see it the glass half full, half empty? So again, when you think about your resilience, resilience means that you're still trying in spite of the challenges, in spite of the obstacles. So we're going to combine that resilience with something that we call grit, G-R-I-T, grit. Grit is really about having courage and resolve, just really that strength of character, that inner force that helps to really help you to reach a goal over a long period of time. So again, adding in that ability to be resilient, you're going to keep going no matter what. And to that, you would combine that sense of courage, that sense of resolve, that strength of your character. And all of that, really, let's say if we were, making a nice stew, kind of mix that together, and what are we coming up? We got this growth mindset, resilience and grit helps us with the belief that, that even though life and situations can be a challenge, it can also be a learning experience that helps us to become stronger, and as you face obstacles in our lives, you just look at it a little bit differently. And so that every situation in our lives, whether it's good, whether it's bad, somehow we're able to, as we're moving along, to use that to fuel us to keep moving forward and to keep working on our goals and our objectives. And so I hope that you can understand how, having a growth mindset would really correlate to and be beneficial to your education, and how that makes sense. You know, we want to, whether we're in our English class, whether we're in our math, our science, you know, whether we are on the football team, whether we're on the debate team, whether we're in one of the social clubs, we want to have resilience. You want to bring that sense of grit. And above all, you want to have a growth mindset in whichever setting you're in. So let me now give you some examples of some folks that you know and maybe a few people that you don't know. But let me give you some examples of quotes that exhibit these qualities of resilience, grit, and growth mindset. When inventing the light bulb, Thomas Edison is quoted as saying, "I have not failed. I have found 10,000 ways that won't work." Interesting. Winston Churchill once said, "Success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm." Interesting, right? Interesting. Again, developing that sense of resilience, that sense of grit, that growth mindset. Michael Jordan, and I quote, "I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I have been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed." Okay, the last one is by J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter, right? She says, and I quote, "You will fail. That's inevitable. It's what you do with that." All right, so I want you to think about, as we wind down this segment on growth mindset, thinking about our toolkit, our mindfulness toolkit, and realizing that a part of this, combining that resilience, that grit, combining and bringing mindfulness, that mindfulness practice daily to your life will really make a change. Now, I want us to just take 2 or 3 minutes. We're going to do a really quick exercise, and you can do this exercise over and over again. And I want to challenge you to practice this exercise. So I want you to now reflect on something you're currently working on. It can be something you're working on in school, such as a project, or, you know, preparing for a test, or anything that you are working on. It could be a new skill, it could be a sport, you could be performing, or you could be, you could think about an upcoming performance that you may have. So I want you to think about whatever it is you want to think about, but something that you anticipate that's going to happen. And I want you to just take a moment, close your eyes, relax. We're just breathing. No big deal. We're going to bring our mindfulness to this experience, thinking about something that you're currently working on. I want you to give thought, think about how hard you have put, or all the hard work you've put in so far. Whatever it is you're working on, whether it's that chem test, whether you're preparing for that recital, whatever you're working on. Think about all the work, studying for your SATs. Think about all the hard work you've already done, all the work it's already done. And now think about, have you made any improvements? Is there maybe a new approach that you can take to continue your growth? Just think about it, whatever it is. Do you know more, or can you do more than you did last week? What can we do to improve? What? What are some small steps that we can take each day to reach that goal as you're thinking about developing and sustaining your growth mindset? What are we thinking about? And I want you just to quietly reflect on that. Quietly reflect whatever you're currently working on, really give thought to how much, give yourself credit, acknowledge what you've already done. Think about, stretch yourself. How can I improve it? Is there any way to improve it? Maybe set a goal. Where am I? What is something that I could do each day to carry out my goal? So I'm going to leave you with that for your toolkit today. I hope that you'd have enjoyed this segment on growth mindset. Practice, practice, practice. And remember, be well 365 days. Thank you.